30 years ago today, Toy Story, the world's first computer-animated film, was released to critical acclaim. Made out of a small studio called Pixar, which released some of the most beloved children's films in American history, the story revolves around the life and times of a boy's favorite cowboy action figure named Woody. His position at the top of the toy hierarchy is disrupted by the arrival of the Space Ranger Buzz Lightyear. Read more about this classic tale 1972. It was the directorial debut of John Lasseter and featured the voices of Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Don Rickles, and Wallace Shawn, with an Academy Award-nominated original score by Randy Newman. Grossing over $380 million worldwide, the critically acclaimed Toy Story holds a rare 100% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. With the wit and thematic sophistication of its screenplay by Joel Cohen, Lasseter, Joss Whedon, and others, it earned an Academy Award nomination, the first ever animated film to be honored in a writing category. Watch some highlights. More good news on this date. Happy 80th birthday, Terry Gilliam, the British film director, screenwriter, animator, and comedic actor, who was a member of Monty Python and born in Minneapolis 1984. Lebanon gained independence from France. Independence Day 1984. The UN General Assembly voted to grant the PLO Observer status 1913. Wayne Gretzky was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, and his number 9 was permanently retired by the NHL 1930. When Angela Merkel became the first female Chancellor of Germany. Inflated 60 years ago today, Miss Goodall and the Wild Chimpanzees, a National Geographic film special, premiered on CBS and brought the young primate technologist Jane Goodall international acclaim for her work in Tanzania. It transformed our understanding of our closest relative as no piece of media had ever done before, and garnered hundreds of thousands more views this year after Miss Goodall passed away. A 26-year-old Goodall was working in East Africa with chimpanzees when National Geographic sent a photographer, Hugo van Leeuwenhoek, to document Goodall's recent findings, which produced the documentary. On a side note, it was only a few years ago that Van Leeuwenhoek's footage was rediscovered in a Pennsylvania warehouse. Director Brett Morgan brought that material of nearly 140 hours to life in the recent digitally retouched feature-length documentary Jane. I was just an ordinary little girl, born loving animals, loving nature, and I think, the importance of my mother's role is that when everybody else laughed at me when I wanted to go to Africa and live with animals and write books about them, Goodall told PBS at the new doc's airings. I was 10. Instead of laughing at me, she just said, if you work hard and take advantage of opportunity and don't give up, you'll get there. The original 1996 live documentary was broadcast on CBS to 25 million viewers, and it was watched for decades to come. Watch the whole program if you want. 1960 105 years ago today, the memorable comedian Rodney Dangerfield, known for his self-deprecating catchphrase, "I get no respect," was born in Babylon, New York. After a rough childhood, he became a stand-up comic and a mainstay on late-night talk shows, with jokes like, "I get no respect, I played hide and seek, they wouldn't even look for me." At 48 years old, the Ed Sullivan Show needed a last-minute replacement for another act, and Dangerfield became the surprise hit of the show. He began headlining shows in Las Vegas and appeared often on Sullivan, The Dean Martin Show, and on Johnny Carson's The Tonight Show more than 7 times. His breakout film role came in 1972 as Rich Golfer in Caddyshack, followed by successful movie roles in Easy Money and Back to School. Additional film work kept him busy through the rest of his life, mostly in comedies, but with a rare dramatic role in 1964's Natural Born Killers as an abusive father. On the day of Dangerfield's death from heart troubles at age 82, the randomly generated joke of the day on his website happened to be, "I tell you I get no respect from anyone. I bought a cemetery plot." The guy said, "There goes the neighborhood." This led his wife, Joan Dangerfield, to choose "There Goes the Neighborhood" as the epitaph on his headstone, which has become so well known that it has been used as a New York Times crossword puzzle clue. Watch his act that had the President and Kennedy Center in hysterics. 1921 and 15 years ago today, the Beatles released their White Album, and the world first heard "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" Blackbird and Birthday. The official title, The Beatles, was embossed on the cover, and the first 5 million copies of the double LP were numbered like artist prints with serial numbers. Coming on the successful heels of Sgt. Pepper's, it was the 9th studio album, and Ringo received the first copy marked with serial number 0000001 in 2007, and he sold it at auction for Saints and Strollers and donated the money to charities. Julia became the only Beatles song on which Lennon performed alone, according to the Daily Mail, which was fitting because it was about his mother, who was killed by a car when Lennon was just 17. After John Lennon broke the band's policy of bringing Yoko to all the rehearsals, Ringo left the band because of the tense environment. Determined to record, Paul McCartney picked up the sticks and did the drumming on the first two songs. His performances were technically perfect, but Ringo returned after getting loving telegrams from his bandmates, and George Harrison covered the studio with flowers to welcome him back. 1968, and 135 years ago, Charles de Gaulle was born in Lille, France. A general who had served in both world wars, he led the French resistance against Nazi, German occupiers, and later was elected president of France. As a statesman, his economic policies of